You're listening to another episode of the Just Go Bike podcast powered by RAGBRAI. This is the award-winning podcast where we are all about the culture of cycling just for the fun of it. Your hosts are Murph from the Murphology podcast and AP from Parrot Talk. With tales from all over the nation, come for the bikes, stay for the fun, and leave with a smile. And now here is Murph.
Hey, that's me.
And AP.
Hey, that's me.
Hello, AP.
Hello, Murph. Looks like we have another one of my very favorite episodes of Rider Recaps today.
We do. So we have 3 more interviews this week, and a bonus is that one of them contacted us that wanted to be interviewed, and he's a bike mechanic. So
cool.
That's kind of cool to get that perspective of somebody who stays put most of the day and sees the riders come to them, which made me think, have you ever had to use the bike shops while on route?
I have. I try to do most of my own maintenance, but I used to ride with the charter called Bicyclists of Iowa City, or BIC, and you have to, in order to get to RAGBRAI, you put your bike in a box, and it's transported in a box. Well, I got back to RAGBRAI and put my bike back together, and I was missing a really crucial bolt
for
my bike. So I did visit the bike shops for that purpose, and they were able to help me out. So shout out to whoever helped me back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
My second bike shop story, I want to just quick shout out to Brent from Bike Tech for giving us the mini bikes on RAGBRAI. I really should have visited a bike shop when they got smushed in the car wash in Dyersville.
Will you explain what the mini bikes are? Yes.
So this year on RAGBRAI, Murph and I had something we like to call the Pod Rod, which is a gorgeous Toyota 4Runner that we were given by Toyota to use for the week. And I had staged it at the expo overnight for just to make sure that it was ready to go for the expo. Mm-hmm. And sometime during the night, Brent from Bike Tech put a little, into the hitch rack, he put a tiny 3D printed bike rack with tiny bikes on it.
Yeah.
On the car. And at first we had no idea who it was, but eventually we spilled the beans. But they were fully functional, like 3-inch tall bikes.
They could pedal. They had a kickstand. They had little brakes. They were so cool.
They kind of did it all. They were so cute, and they got smushed in that car wash. But I'm really good with super glue.
I think I have, if I haven't posted it yet, I have a little bit of a video on the Just Go Bike social media that features you fixing the bikes and us looking at the bikes and everything about the bikes.
A rider also submitted a video. We can talk about this later, but somebody submitted a video of our tiny bikes that I'll send to you. And you
cool.
Put in there while they're functioning.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
So how about you? Have you ever needed to use a bike shop while on RAGBRAI?
Yeah, I can also think of 2 times. The latest was, I think it was last year, but I have tubeless tires. And when you have tubeless tires, you have all this gooey, that's not the technical term, but goo inside your tires. Yeah. And somehow the goo had come up into the stem that you use to pump air in the tire. So it got extra gooey. And so I couldn't add additional air to the tires. So I tried a couple of days, and then finally I just asked a mechanic. It took him like less than a minute to unscrew the gooey version, put in a brand new one, and I was on my way in a matter of minutes. So
very good.
Shout out to them.
What was the other time?
Well, the other time was a little bit more interesting. I think I've talked about it on the podcast, but somebody stole both of my tires. Do you remember that one?
No.
The entire rims and wheels.
Wow.
Like, they took off my entire wheel set and replaced it with their mountain bike wheel set.
What? Oh my God.
And so my brakes didn't work or anything. And so I had to get a farmer to get me a ride to the next town. And then I had to buy new everything. So,
oh my gosh. Would you like me to check the lost and found for your old wheels?
That was like maybe 25 years ago, back when, I spent an awful lot of time in the bars back then. So who knows? Who knows where those tires are today, but hopefully,
all right.
Hopefully that person had a great ride with their smooth tires.
That was awfully nice of them to give you the mountain bike tires, I have to say.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. But all right. So let's hear who's on this episode. Let's get back to the present.
Okay. So we have Adam the mechanic, who gives us their on-route perspective. We've got Austin, who is a first-timer. And then we've got Sarah, who this year, it was her 10th year of riding, I believe. But this year she had 3 generations because she was with her dad and her son for the week.
That's super cool. What an awesome combination of perspectives on the ride. I can't wait to hear.
All right, let's get to it. Austin is here joining us on the Just Go Bike podcast. Hey, Austin.
Hey, Murph. Thanks for having me on the podcast here today. Super excited to chat.
Yeah. Tell everybody where you're located and how many times you've done RAGBRAI.
I'm located in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I've been a part of RAGBRAI 3 times in the past, not as a cyclist, but as a host in a host town, overnight town.
Okay.
So throughout my childhood and into adulthood, and this year's my first year cycling the whole route. So, so that's a little bit about me and my RAGBRAI history.
And what town were you part of the hosting?
So we were located in Washington, Iowa, my family growing up. Yeah. And so, so we got to host several times, twice when I was a real little kid, and then once when I was in college. And now, since I've been out of college for a while, in graduate school, I've been able to have some time I can actually ride the whole route. So I was able to do it with a lot of my family who, they're getting into their mid 60s now. So it's really cool to be a part of such a unique experience. And some of them were support drivers who were in their mid 70s and heading into their 80s. So just like kind of a unique time frame for all of us to be able to do it.
Right. And you kind of alluded to it, you have time now that you're out of school, but what made this year, 2026, the year that you're saying, I am going to ride my bike all the way across Iowa?
Great question. So living in Colorado Springs, I am obsessed with mountain biking. So I was, my whole life, I've always loved mountain biking and adrenaline sports, but never had the opportunity to do it. Until I moved out to Colorado Springs, and growing up seeing RAGBRAI was such a inspiring, just experience. One, being a part of it, like being a host, family, but also meeting people from all over the world. In literally, when I say that, multiple countries, even when I was a little kid and even into college, and then being a part of the whole experience. I was actually, I would say invited is what I want to say, but more voluntold that I should be a part of a team to do it. And, growing up, I never thought I would ever bike across Iowa. Growing up in Washington, Iowa, I never thought that would be ever something. I thought people were crazy. I was like, there's no way. But I'd love to hear the stories about it. And so finally, I was just like, you know what? I feel like growing up in Iowa, I never had the opportunity to do this. So I should at least give it a shot once. To bike across it with a group of amazing people. So I'm very grateful for that opportunity. So that's why I did it this year.
Awesome. And I think, I'm pretty sure Washington is on the east side of the state, correct?
That's right. We're about 30 minutes south of Iowa City. We're a little bit bigger than the town of Harlan. So in regards to this year's route, similar size, but just a little bit bigger. So, but yeah, we're 30 minutes south of Iowa City on the southeast corner.
Okay. So growing up, you probably didn't even know what existed to the west of you, the whole state of Iowa and how different it is from where you lived.
Yeah. My roommate in college was from Northwest Iowa. So I was able to experience that in college, but never growing up. So that was such a unique opportunity to explore the rest of the state. But yeah, very much used to the Mississippi and into the eastern part of Iowa for sure.
Yeah. So you moved to Colorado Springs and you are, it sounds like pretty into mountain biking, but don't you think riding your bike across the state of Iowa is a little bit different than the mountains of Colorado?
Oh, 1000%. My teammates were funny because like we were talking about elevation gain with 16,000 feet of this year's route.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just such a switch for me riding, instead of riding in the mountains, riding across Iowa for 16,000 feet. And literally telling them, when I said this, I said, Iowa is not flat. So we're going to be riding a lot of intervals. And so I was actually helping, my job is as a health coach. So I was helping train a lot of them.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, one of the big things is I was just trying to talk to him. I was like, this year's route is pretty big elevation gain wise for you sea levelers. So mentally preparing for it, I felt like Colorado was a great training ground for RAGBRAI this year. But I'll tell you what, the first 2 days of humidity, I'm still, even growing up in the state, I was still not prepared for. So the hydration was important, but it was so cool to see, like I said, some of these individuals, like I said, who are in their 60s, like mid 50s and now mid 60s, have the opportunity to do it with them and see such a cool experience. So
yeah,
it was awesome.
Did you guys name your team?
Yeah, our team name was Lieutenant Dan's Cycling Team.
Okay.
So yeah, if anyone's listening and they went by us, we definitely heard you guys yelling at us many times. So yeah, I didn't pick the team name, but yeah, that was our team.
Okay. And how about any like good stories that you want to share with listeners about, what, if anything weird happened or a really good thing that happened?
Sure. One of the most amazing, like just being a part of RAGBRAI as a kid and even into college years, I was so impressed by the hospitality of how many people are willing to just drop everything they're doing and be a part of just an experience. I think one of the things is especially with history of like being in sports and being a coach, is you don't get the opportunity very often to have everyone be a part of such a cool experience where the town is involved. Like it could be just like parts of the town are involved, but the whole, literally every single town is involved in some way. Volunteers, like people willing to do all this. And one of the experiences was at we only stayed at a host family one night in Guthrie Center, but we had another team that was staying there as well with us, who we did not know. And they're a group of like guys and girls my age who are in their 30s. And it's interesting, their bus ended up breaking down and they had no idea what to do. And the host family, his name is Cole, he was able to they ended up blocking their driveway because they ran out of gas, so they couldn't get out of their driveway. So he had to take his work truck to go get diesel fuel for these individuals and help them fix their bus.
Oh my gosh.
All in this, like literally all in the same day. And you know how hot it was and humid it was in Guthrie Center that day, but it was such a cool thing to see, like our host family, like drop everything and be like, hey, we're going to take care of you guys. Don't worry about this. And it was pretty cool experience to see him just take care of them, like didn't even ask questions. It was just like, yeah, what do you need? And how can I help you? So, and that's something that, especially for me, why I had such a great experience in regards to like past RAGBRAIs, but this one was really special as my family who's out of state could see like the hospitality of Iowa and the experience all of this. So yeah, such a cool experience.
Yeah. And the chances that you're at a host family who actually knows how to fix a bus.
Exactly.
Like what are the chances? I mean, it could have been anybody's house.
I know. It was such a perfect timing. I literally told the guy who is if he's listening, but I told him, I was like, you picked the best house to stay at by, and they're randomly assigned based on, it's not necessarily specific, bids, but it was such a cool thing to be a part of that and see how that went down. But there's so many other stories of cool things in RAGBRAI. That one is what stuck out the most for me.
And you said you only had one night where you had a host family that you stayed at. So what did you do the rest of the week?
Yeah, so we end up staying at just like the campgrounds,
Okay.
just tent camping the rest of the time. But again, that's where you meet everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So it's such a cool experience meeting people. I live in Colorado Springs, and I'm still meeting people in Colorado that like live in the same city within a 5 mile radius. So it's such a wild experience. It's that you've traveled so far to get to this location, and these
Mm-hmm.
people are literally down the street from you, and they're inviting you to meet up afterwards,
Wow.
right? And
Yeah.
and chat and be a part of the cycling community at a larger level. So I think that was really cool too.
And then for the most part, did you cycle with your team, or did you just meet up at the end each day?
So we got split up several times throughout the rides, but for the most part, we tried staying together
Mm-hmm.
as best as we could. So, but all of us rode all 390 miles. So
Nice.
it was a successful trip. We had a couple of mechanical breakdowns with the bikes, but like we're such a good communicated team that like nothing really held us back, and
Yeah.
there was some really good like camaraderie with the situation. So and extremely thankful for like the bike shops that were available and
Mm-hmm.
accessible during that time. I can't think of another like program or race that's even close to the amount of care that people put into this. So
Yeah.
it was really great.
And I interviewed one of the mechanics at Bike World who was en route each day.
Oh,
And
cool.
he said that, they charge the same that they would charge if you were in their bike shop in one of their towns that they have just brick and mortar bike shops, which, I mean, of course it's Iowa, so you would kind of assume that that's the case, but it was nice to hear that where,
Yeah.
if I have a hole in, need a tire patched, it's not going to cost me $100 to do that. It's going to cost the $8 for a new tube kind of deal. So
Right.
I love that about it. What thoughts do you have, like those last few miles hitting the Mississippi River and knowing that you accomplished what you accomplished?
Oh my gosh, like the day, like, and this is one of the reasons why I was recruiting so many family members and friends to do um the Dyersville to Dubuque route. It was so in my opinion so cool to
Mm-hmm.
see ride through Field of Dreams and end in Dubuque. And I love Dubuque, Iowa, like especially being from Eastern Iowa. I think it's so pretty. But I was I was not expecting the hills that were there, but I
Right.
but I think I was the most prepared in regards to our team coming from Colorado. But I will say, like, it was still hard. Like, you
Yeah.
guys, like, it's still no joke. But such a beautiful view coming into the Mississippi. It was an amazing experience, and the tire dip was so fun. Like
Mm-hmm.
you see some people who have done RAGBRAI, for decades, and other people who it's their first time, or like the stories that you hear of, like there was another individual who he talked about, he was on RAGBRAI and his son was about to be born. His wife went into emergency labor, and he had to go finish the RAGBRAI route and then immediately went to the Twin Cities to emergent
Wow.
care. And it was wild because his son ended up riding um, this year's RAGBRAI 18 years later.
Oh,
So such a wild experience, like just like stories that I can't even make up because they were so unique and
yeah.
and so inspiring. So but yeah, the last day was probably my favorite day to ride, truthfully. But we also got up each day at like 6 a.m. or we left at 6 a.m. So
Mm-hmm.
it was just fun to ride in the morning and see the sunrise every single day.
Yeah.
So
The sunrise. And then sometimes it was like that weird fog because it was so
oh
humid. It
yeah.
was just so beautiful.
Yeah, and like being from Iowa, even coming back, it's just such a unique experience that I sometimes like took for granted growing up, but now it's like, oh wow, I can experience this like so much differently.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you think Team Lieutenant Dan will resurface next year?
Maybe I think so. I'm gonna be honest. Most of them, I should say this. I'm not gonna speak for them,
Okay.
but I will say that most of them were definitely implying that they're gonna do it again next
Okay.
year.
All right.
So make sure you look out for them. I don't know if that'll be their team name next year, but we'll see, I guess.
Well,
So
you heard it here first.
yeah,
Every
definitely.
listeners, look for that team again. Well, good. Austin, thank you so much for your time and telling us some of your stories, and we appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you so much, Barbara. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet. Next up, we have Sarah, who is coming to us from Bend, Oregon. Hello, Sarah.
Hi there.
Tell us your RAGBRAI experience.
Well, this last year was my 10th RAGBRAI.
Oh.
I've been writing RAGBRAI since 2012, off and on, and started in 2012 with my writing with my dad, who at that time I think was 2 and had done a couple. My mom had died of cancer the year before, and I just thought, well, this is kind of a father-daughter bonding thing.
Yeah.
It was a really hot year that year in 2012. It cooled off later in the week, like it did this week. But later in the week, I think I needed an earlier cooling that year to come back right away. So then again in 2015, and almost consecutive since then. Just kind of a little bit of the RAGBRAI addiction going on here.
And when you and your dad still meet up to do this, are you all homestays or camping or RV?
Okay, yes. We've been with Pork Belly. We did some RV early on, and then we just Pork Belly. The last 2 years we've been in the fat trailers. Full disclosure.
There you go. You have to explain what the fat trailers are. I've been in them a couple times. They're so sweet.
They're amazing. So we were on a 10-year waiting list for these air conditioned in trailers, and my dad, because he's 80 now, really was kind of oversleeping on the ground and getting up the ground and that kind of thing. So we did it last year, and he just was into the really refreshed and rested, which he's never done on RAGBRAI. And he was like, I'm totally into this fat trailer thing. And so we've just been doing those, and it's been amazing, especially getting out of the heat for kind of all three of us. But we're not used to the humidity. I also rode this year with my son.
Okay.
He's 20.
Okay.
And is a college student at the U of O. Let's go, Ducks.
Okay, back to those fat trailers. Not only are they air conditioned, and I think at least the one I was in had bunk beds so you could sleep 4 people. But you don't have to like pack up your stuff every day because the trailer gets attached to a semi and it physically moves. So it's just waiting for you at the next overnight.
Yeah.
It's an amazing, and I cannot believe how long you were on a waiting list. That's crazy.
I know. It's a game changer. It really is, because the morning you're packing up your stuff every morning, even with tent service. We did tent service before, and that's still such a luxury. Don't get me wrong, but just leaving your stuff slightly tornadoed in the morning is amazing, and then just coming back to it. It didn't even shift around that much in the trailer.
Yeah.
And then they make your bed. I'm like, that's crazy. And then there's a cooler with ice in it. The first day we were like, what in the world is going on in here? I mean, we were just like, I was almost embarrassed to tell people, but now I'm like, whatever. I'm riding with my dad.
That's right.
He's paying for it.
That's
so
right.
I'm all in. Yeah.
And so this year you had 3 generations. So tell us what that's like, because you're, the eyes of your son, your eyes, and then also your father.
Right. Oh, it was so fun. Like my son just getting to do it after hearing about it for years and years and years. And really it was the food. I was like, oh, you got to try Thelma's. You're going to love Thelma's. So he was very excited, but wasn't much of a biker, honestly. Now he's thinking about joining the U of O biking team. He's super into biking. And that's been such a gift to just train for it with him. Like the day he came home from college this summer, we were just constantly writing. So it was super fun. And then my dad, for him, like we took a couple of years off, and he became a little pre-diabetic, and he was just like, this is my health goal. Yeah. And so he gets to ride year round in San Diego. And that's just his big motivator, is to get on his bike every day and do at least 10 miles and train. And he did some pretty big days. He sagged a few of the days, but he did over 60 miles one day and over 70, which is amazing for 85. I mean, just amazing.
Right. Did you guys name your little crew? Did you have a team
we
name?
Didn't have a cute little name. No, we didn't. That would have been fun.
Well, there's always the next time, right?
Yeah.
Any specific experiences that you guys were like, Oh my gosh, I have got to tell the world about this.
I mean, we just went into some of the coolest churches this year. That one in Erling was just
Oh yeah.
unreal, just out of the blue. And I'd been excited about Erling because I love spooky stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew about the exorcism. I mean, I listened to you guys before the ride. Like I took notes. I'm in the trailer in the morning. Okay, you guys, there's going to be an exorcism town. And I love driving by that. Did you see the sign that said Satan be gone next to the guy's face going up the hill?
Yes.
Anyway, that was spooky. And it's the guy who did the exorcism. But that church was amazing. I mean, just these little hidden gems in Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, on the West Coast, no one's heard of RAGBRAI out here. Like even in the bike stores, it's kind of this unknown thing. So I don't know. I love the Midwest. I love the people, and I love all the food. You know, the endless eating for the week is really fun too.
Yeah. I don't think there was another exorcism, like that happened while we were there, unless maybe some riders got extra spooky and went for it.
Right. I think we were safe. We went through, in 2015, we went through Villisca with the Axe Murder House.
Yes.
And that's nearby where our farm is in Iowa. So I was already kind of into that lore of the Southwest, unsolved mysteries still down there.
Right. So are you saying that you grew up in Iowa, or you had a family farm in Iowa that you came to visit?
Family farm. I grew up in San Diego.
Okay. Yeah. So you've had a taste of Iowa your whole life.
Yeah. Yeah. We would go out and visit as a kid, and there'd always be like kittens on the farm and lots of bugs that I was scared at. But I love the fireflies. The fireflies were always a special treat, and getting to show them to my son, over RAGBRAI was fun. Just being like, look, the fireflies.
So you don't have fireflies where you are now?
No.
Oregon
doesn't have
fireflies. I just
fireflies.
assumed it was everywhere.
No, they're so special.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what was it like? I don't know if all three of you made it to the Mississippi at the same time, or what was that like?
Yes, that was fun. My son and I went ahead. We did a lot of leapfrogging with Grandpa because we didn't quite ride his speed. But we waited until we were all done with those hills, and then we rode in together. And we love it when the Air Force is there. Yeah. The Air Force is my favorite. And we were just a little bit early for them. Honestly, they were coming in at 11:30. But we took our picture next to the Mississippi and just felt really stoked to honestly, like we didn't have any flat tires. We had a couple close calls. Someone hit me going up a hill, just like a funny little bump going uphill. I don't even know what happened. I was fine, but like nobody went down. The end of the week, you're like, hey, wait, everything was fine on my bike. So
yeah.
That's something, you want to point it out, but you don't want to point it out till you're done. So.
Right. Yeah. It's RAGBRAI to me is an experience where there's definitely some times when I'm questioning why I'm spending a week, out in the heat and stuff. But
100%.
99% of the time, as soon as I get a good night's sleep, all I can think about is the good stuff.
Right. It's literally like childbirth. You forget how hard it is. And like in January, I'll be like, that wasn't that hard. And then I'll sign up again.
Exactly.
But like that Sunday was real hard for us. And that's why we sagged on Monday. We were like, that just killed us.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even the hills. It was the heat.
Yeah, you couldn't get away from it.
We've got hills out here. And the hills are different, though. We've got like a sustained climb up mountain passes and stuff, but that's just it is different. The Iowa hills, those hills were hard this year.
And they seem to never stop when you've got those 3,600 feet of climb. They just were like, what? I have more.
Another one.
Yes.
Yeah, we're done. We're done with you.
Well, it sounds like you are going to come back to Iowa again, possibly next year, or at least in the future.
Yes. Oh, for sure. I have all my girlfriends I want to take. I am threatening to my husband that he has to come ride with me some year. We'll see if he'll ever come out. But my son definitely's already asked one of his friends to do it with him next year. He's got the RAGBRAI fever big time.
Ah, that's
and
great.
Again, no one out on the West Coast knows about RAGBRAI, apparently. So, I mean, not no one. There's definitely West Coasters on RAGBRAI, but it's just not as popular, which is funny.
So two things. You need to be the spokesperson to get more people from your area to come. And if you can get your husband and your son and, if Grandpa comes back, You got to get a name. You got to get a name for this team.
You're right. We need a name. I agree. I love that.
Maybe something
work on that.
with ducks in it. I don't know.
Yes, for sure.
Well, Sarah, thank you for taking the time to talk on the podcast. And I loved hearing your perspective of riding across Iowa.
Yeah, it was so fun. And maybe I'll meet you next time in person.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Okay. Have a good day.
We will be right back.
Dear Friday, Toyota says let's put good times in gear with the Tundra, Tacoma, and 4Runner. Want some cool available features? We've got power tailgates to power game days and a trailer backup guide that's the champ of the Ram. Heck, we might even cancel Monday. Toyota Trucks. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Now, back to the show.
Next up, we have Adam. Hey, Adam.
Hey, guys. This is Adam. I'm here now.
And this is so cool because you have such a different perspective than most of the riders out there because you are representing a bike shop.
Yes, I am. I work for Bike World, but I've been doing mechanic life for 15 to 20 years and have been back in Iowa for 4 years.
Oh, wow.
I grew up in Ames, actually, like where the store that I work at is in Ames. They've got a bigger store in West Des Moines that I'm sure people from Des Moines would know that area, and Urbandale and Clive or other locations. But like they're a pretty big footprint for, at least for Iowa cycling for sure. So like I grew up in Iowa, I grew up in Ames. I loved biking. Never did RAGBRAI, never really like saw it, never really, I guess, knew or cared about it until I was 37, I guess.
Wow.
But yeah, like saying that I grew up in Ames is like, oh, you do, and you like bikes. It's like, you do RAGBRAI. It's like, no, I don't. Nope. I go and work in Alaska instead, and then I come home to Iowa. So.
And what a different culture, the fishing culture versus the biking culture.
Yeah, it's different. There's actually, it's funny. I've talked with my manager about why I think I like RAGBRAI so much, or why, I don't mean to sound like pretentiously, but why I think I like excel doing this type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of weird parallels between like the long hours that you're doing it no matter the weather. You have this like small group of people that you rely on. So there's a group of 4 of us that do this little traveling crew. There's lots of like bike shops and crews that will do it in the overnight towns. We are one of the crews that will do it in whatever little in between town we get told to.
Okay.
So you're traveling to a remote location, Alaska, haha, and then you're setting up this thing. You're working really hard. You're making pretty decent money. Typically, I'm not like directly making the money, but and then you're trying to solve whatever weird problem is happening, and like under bad sleep conditions, and that. So and the biggest difference to me is people. People are on vacation on RAGBRAI. Fishing was like. Everyone's kind of, fishing industry, everyone's kind of grumpy and mean and like not having a great time. So you get this like different sense of camaraderie with that too. So, you get friendship and bonds developed through trauma. So you get deeper bonds through shared trauma on RAGBRAI, right? Whether trauma is the right word, but like, oh, did you guys all suffer through those hills on Monday in the heat? Wow, that was bad. Let's be friends forever.
Right. While we're waiting in line to get our bikes fixed. But
yes. Yep.
I want to know.
Like, oh, it's still hot. So
I want to know, like, let's say I'm going to make up a town. Let's say I arrive in Green Mountain, population 100 something, and I have a click or something weird happening on my bike, and it's like a mirage. There will be a bike shop set up with just tents and a fix-it stand, and somehow you have the majority of parts people need. So how does all of that work?
You have to, like, it's hard to be a bad mechanic and a bad employee and then be out on RAGBRAI. It's pretty hard. It takes, I would say, months of preparation to even get to handle that 1 week of like, we have a lot of stuff, but there's very few bikes that I could look at and point and say, I bet I could replace nearly every single thing on that bike aside from like the frame.
Oh, wow.
I bet that's a pretty rare thing.
Right.
And it's just because the industry standards are so vast that standard is a pretty wrong word to me. But yeah, so it's just, I would say the most common thing that happens is people break a spoke. That's a pretty common one. And so we've got a very expensive still wood spoke cutter and roller that can make essentially any kind of spoke, just like you would in a shop.
Oh, because everybody's tire, or most people's tires, have different color spoke, different weight spokes, different.
Yeah, different
Okay.
length is the biggest one.
Okay.
So and we don't carry everything for that. But the most common thing is just like a little J-bend spoke. But like we've got a way to like measure the spoke that broke and then cut one to that same length and roll it. It only takes like 30 seconds. The machine is, again, like $7,000 or something. But we bring that with. And then we also still bring a bunch of actual spokes too, in case sometimes that machine doesn't work right on RAGBRAI, or it got bounced around the trailer funny or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a real common one. Chains are somewhat pretty universal, and then flat tires too. A tube can be super, it's just a big balloon. So like that's a pretty common one. But people also, they're not really coming to at least these shops with a flat tire. Because at least, again, from my experience in the little in-between towns, it's little stuff that people can still ride through.
Mm-hmm.
So a broken chain that, shout out to the Air Force, that they shortened the chain, put a quick link in, and I was able to ride to you guys to put on a longer, correct size chain.
Yeah.
Those dudes and girls and people, I think, probably fix more bikes than all the other shops combined.
Wow.
And like out there, not in shade, we have a fan sometimes. They barely have, like, they're riding the parts with them. But for sure, shout out to the Air Force people. It's like pretty, I don't know, it's pretty endearing how kick-ass they seem to be. And how many people are like, the Air Force fixed it and told me to come see you. And I jokingly would tell the Air Force people that, it's like, yeah, shout out to you guys. Like, they said that you fixed it, and so they came to us and then we fixed it right. But like, they fixed it enough that they could come to us and have it take more time and attention than 110 degree humidity, temperature, and feels like, and all that stuff. So but like if they have a flat tire, people aren't riding a flat tire, so they might sag to the overnight town and sort of skip all the in-between towns too, maybe, because they'll get 7 bike shops in one area or 6 bike shops in one area, and they have a better shot at, and maybe an actual like in-town bike shop too, right?
Yeah.
So so we put up tents and we have parts, and like it's the same price for like labor and parts on the road as it is in our store.
Oh, okay.
I think lots of the shops do that too. Like we don't charge you extra for being out there. It does take more time and attention to do it, but it's the same price.
And how do logistics work as far as, because when I pull into a town, you guys are already set up. So do you travel the night before to that town?
No, some shops do, and I think it depends on a lot of variables to that. We call it backwards math. So the day before, we do backwards math. Like if we're told to be in Colo, so we have to figure out the average. We want to be there pretty close to when the first rider could come through, which is not always possible, especially on a hot day and if people leave at 3:30 in the morning. Like we can't possibly be there that early. But we have to sleep too, and our crew, we don't have AC or a cool camper. We sleep in tents like everyone else does too. Mm-hmm. So there's logistics of getting from tent to the truck, and then truck to wherever our assignment is based on how far the rider has to go, and then how fast can our truck travel. But so if our service time is 3, which means we have to be out of there by 3 p.m. or stop serving people at 3 p.m. But if they're 45 miles into the ride, the average rider can maybe do 15 miles an hour, not just speed, but like stopping and bathroom and eating and stuff. We do it based on 15 miles an hour. So it takes them 3 hours to get there. A lot of people leave at 5. So we do a 5 o'clock estimated leave time. So they'll get there by 8 a.m. Now, we can't go on the rider route typically, so we have to go on the support route.
Right.
So that plays a factor. If there's a bunch of other people on that route, that can slow it down. So it might take us, it's only 55 miles to drive there, but the support route, it's like 75. Riders get there at 8 a.m. We want to be set up by then. It takes us maybe a half hour, so 7:30. It takes, we'll say, an hour, maybe hour and a half to get there. So 6 a.m. we have to a half hour to like wake up and get to the truck. So yeah, anyway, the backwards math is like one of the biggest things that hurts my brain during the week, because we're already tired and have been in the heat for 10 hours.
Right.
And then we can't really do it much in advance because logistics can change. So we have to do it like the night before. So we're doing it like in tents or near the Bike World's charter area, like next to a truck with a couple of maps, and like, again, we call it backwards math. And it's usually all of us grumbling a little bit because it is, even the late days are always earlier than we want.
Well, when
it's
you
like,
hear,
we get a late day tomorrow. We get to wake up by 4 a.m.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you hear 3 a.m. or 4 a.m., There's no way around that. I mean, especially when
No,
you're
there's
sleeping
just
in a
not.
hot tent.
The location for 3 points each day. So we have our charter location where we sleep. We have the expo where we have to go and like help out the expo crew and maybe drop off a deposit or like restock on something or give them some of our stock, because we also have a crew that works in the expo, completely different Bike World crew. And then we have our assignments. I have 3 pins like every day for 8 days or whatever. And so this year I did it a week early. And so in the moment I could just click go to,
Perfect.
Colo assignment.
Yeah,
and
you could be as tired as you wanted to be, and you could still get to your location.
That was smart, it turns out, for me. But that was after 2 years of being like, this is really hard to figure out at 3:30 in the morning.
Sure. So you spend your day, wrenching on bikes and fixing and saving people's days. Do you have any memories when you weren't there? As far as, did you see anything cool while you were experiencing RAGBRAI?
It's still, I'm a pretty big sucker for like just talking to people. Like I'm tired now. I'm tired and I'm retired from drinking. So I don't drink. I like loud noises. I'm not super into. I've got 2 young kids at home. So if I want loud noises, I'll just like hang out in my own house for a little bit. And it's been in actually a week or so, it'll be 15 years I've been sober. So like, I don't do any of that part of it, but like I am so into just talking to people and like learning where they're from. And it ends up being a lot of people that are in Bike World's charter. It ends up being like, I'm talking to a customer whose bike I fixed for too long. I mean, they're into it because they're in shade and it's fine. Their bike's getting fixed. So like that time is quite relieving to them. But there's a couple named Randy and Lisa that were on a tandem that were pretty worried that when their timing chain broke that I wasn't gonna be able to fix it. But like, I was like looking at it, and it took me a few minutes to like figure out how to fix it. But I told them they're pretty worried about it. But I remembered their name, and so the next day when they saw me again, they were like, "Oh, Adam, like, do you remember us?" I was like, "Yeah, it's Randy and Lisa." They're like, "You remember our names?" Like, "Yeah, I mean, you're a 2-person, you're a 2-part crew." So
yeah.
I do remember that. There's another guy that named, I want to say it was Ricky, I think, that he had on Friday, I want to say he came up, and some people are pretty exhausted, want to tell you the whole story about the bike, but I'm not necessarily interested in like what has already happened to the bike. Like, you're here again because something's not going right now. So he had gone to 3 or 4 other mechanics over the past couple of days, and every one of them said it was like better and right. And because it's all different crews of people, he has to pay every single time to do it. Right. So he pays $20 here, $30 there. Some person says, well, we just need to adjust it here. Another shop says like, we had to put a cable in it. And so when he came to me, he was just like, I think pretty mentally over it, because it's just like water torture with shifting issues for several days. I think for the whole week, maybe. I don't remember how long. But like, I looked at it and thought that a part was bent and the cable was new, but hooked up incorrectly. The chain was on backwards. There's a few things that presumably 3 or 4 other mechanics missed. And it's easy to miss that for sure in the heat. So I want to like make that very clear. I'm not trying to crap on other mechanics.
Yeah.
I guarantee I have messed something up. Same with the 3 other guys before him. But like, we fixed it, and I went and tested it after I'd fixed it, and then gave it to him. Was like, okay, can you go ride this, make sure it's how you like it? And he rode it and came back and was just stoked. He goes, oh my, it's so much better. Like, how much? Oh, yeah. I was like, well, I don't want you to pay anything. You paid enough to people over the course of this week. Like, I have no interest in you paying anything. And he was like, you got to be kidding me. It's like, no. That sounds great, man. Like, get out of here.
There
also might be a degree of like, it's late in the week and I'm tired. I don't want to write your name down. My brain hurts. Like, get out of here, man. Like, go ride your bike. Like, you're enjoying this ride. Get out of here, Ricky. Like, go have fun. So there's some of that, especially on the last day. You'd be like, yeah, they don't charge for much on the last day. It's like, I mean, no one really wants to stop. You just want to make it to the end.
Right.
So you don't want to pay much. I don't really want to do it because I'm tired too.
Right.
But like, I will do it if we need to.
Do you think you'll come back and do this again and be a mechanic again?
Sure. I think so. Barring like some life changes, I think I'd do it again.
Yeah.
The people are cool. And again, it's everyone's vacations. Even Ricky, who had a bad time and paid kind of a lot of money to not have his bike work, still a vacation for him.
Sure.
Being a part of like this crazy mass cycle, whatever this event is, I've had a hard time. Like, you can't explain it to anyone. I had a friend of mine come from Colorado to be a mechanic, kind of mercenary style. Shout out Gil. But he came out and like, I tried for 6 months to sort of describe what it was. I sent him some videos. There's a pretty cool like documentary last year that I sent him. But I mean, until you're just in it, you can't describe what 20 to 50,000 riders looks like. If that's even a number, I don't ever hear a number either. But and like what you're gonna see out there too. I mean, you see every type of weird bicycle. You see a unicycle. You see a 4-wheeled quad cycle. You see e-bikes, bikes. It's just like everything. So.
Well, on behalf of the riders that had to wait in line and get their bike serviced, I will say a heartfelt thank you because I know they all. Just getting back on the bike is probably a big deal to a lot of people.
Yeah, it is. And something's been plaguing them and something's wrong. And like the whole, again, my manager's got lots of these idioms that are hilarious, but he would say, especially in these little towns that were set up, and he goes, yeah, well, thank you for riding. It would be pretty weird if we set up here and there weren't 20,000 riders. So, so thank you guys. It's again, I have so much fun doing it. I brought a megaphone again this year, and it's just for like heckling people and trying to have a good time in between stuff. So yeah, it's great. Great thing. Riders are hilarious and fun. So
I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and sharing your story and your unique perspective. It's pretty cool. So
it's cool. I've listened to a few other ones, and like everyone's got such a different story to it.
Yeah.
Some people travel from so far. Like I'm in Iowa now, and like I don't have to travel that far to get here, and it's part of like the culture of this whole state. So it's pretty awesome to be part of. So thanks very much for. I don't know how I got a hold of your podcast. If Facebook told me I should message you or what happened, but thank you to whatever algorithm thought that it would be a good idea for Murph to call me or something.
Awesome. All right. Yeah, well, get back out there and
fix
good.
The tire. I got more bikes to fix.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks. Yep. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Well, listeners, that is it for today. We want to thank you for tuning in to listen to the Just Go Bike podcast. If you would like to contact Murph and AP with a comment about the podcast, or maybe even you have a topic in mind, you can reach us at justgobikepodcast@gmail.com. Please follow us on Instagram and Facebook and watch our intros on YouTube. And don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast, especially if you're a fan. That is going to do it for this week. Until next time,
just go bike.
Theme song by Ryan Steer, logo by Suzanne Milosevic, produced by Kathy Murphy, social media by Andrea Parrott, intro by Pumpkin. Until next time, just go bike.